Now I get to consolidate all this debt, make one payment, and typically out of for surrounding myself with people who hear the voice of God. I don't surround myself with people who are just talking about what was on the last TV show or what you're going to wear tomorrow or just stuff that doesn't even matter. You know, I surround myself with people of purpose, doing it on purpose, for a purpose. Who said that this morning? You said that, yeah. Doing things on purpose, for a purpose. I live by that. On purpose, for a purpose, making decisions. So I just thank God for it. So today I'm going to talk about the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth. What his original intent for us was regarding being a kingdom citizen, the redemption, and then actually walking that out. Because we can talk about it all day, but then how do I do it? That's always been my question. Well, how do I do it? What are those steps? And I need the beginning step. Well, you wake up, then you go to the bathroom, then you brush your teeth, then you take, all this kind of stuff. I need step by step by step in order to get anything done. So we're going to start with Genesis chapter 1. And I want to encourage you, if you're not already, to read the Bible every single year. And what that's going to do for you is really help you understand the nature of God and who he is and the culture of God. Because when you think about God's culture, if you don't understand his culture and what that looks like, then you don't know if you're walking in it or not. Because we're born and raised in the United States culture, and then beyond that, we have another subculture of our own surroundings where we grew up. Our neighborhoods, it's a culture. Each neighborhood, as you go through, has its own culture, right? If you go out to like Dogtown, Central West End, it's got a culture. Jennings has a culture, right? Kid Life, they all have these cultures. So when you identify more with that culture, then you believe that God operates with you through your culture, when that's not how you should be living. So I'm going to get into more to that, but let's go to Genesis chapter 1, 27 through 31. And what you'll realize too is that God really just does not think like we think. Some stuff in the Old Testament, I'm thinking, man, that's kind of cold-blooded, I'm sorry I made a mistake. I know I said I would do it. I didn't do it. I mean, he opens up the whole earth and bunches of people die until someone runs up and falls on the altar until all that killing stops. You think, man, what kind of God is that? Well, people really don't understand his nature and who he is and why his yes is yes and his no is no. And why he's a very specific God. Okay, so Genesis, this is the creation. Let us make God in our own image. Okay, so let's go to 26. And God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over all the creeping thing that creepeth on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of man created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Number 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every... Okay, I need you to pay attention to this verse. Number 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. Okay, so first of all, we understand we were created in his image. Adam and Eve were in the garden, and they could communicate with him with ease, right? There was no tarrying to hear from him, right? So it was just with ease. Adam could name all the animals. So there was just this flow, right? But then we know what happened. There was the fall. And so then they were banished out. Okay, so that's where the problems began, and that's what we're still working through. But, so first of all, I want to talk about the one created in his image, but we have to know what he looks like. If you were born and adopted, your parents put you up for adoption, and you, let's just say you were adopted by an Asian family, you look like that family, right? So poor country or third world country where there's problems. Okay, so let's say I'm an ambassador. I'm not in Mexico thinking I'm Mexican living in a hut, upset about what's going on because we aren't having a family plan. I'm just not. Because I know what I look like. I know I came from this country. I know that they're taking care of me. I don't have those problems, right? So I believe when God said in 29, the last part of it says, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for me. God created heavens and earth. He created man, or woman out of man, right? In us, He deposited everything we need. This environment is the exact environment we need to thrive in. We have dominion. Now, if we're having problems in the environment, if we're having tsunamis, if we're having things that are in the air that are killing us, whose fault is that? It's our fault, right? Because He's given us dominion over it. He told us to run this. He created earth. It's almost like if I buy my son a car, I give him the car, he never changes the oil, he doesn't put gas in it, now he has to walk, never changes the tires. I gave it to him for his use to do whatever he wanted to do with it, right? He gave us this earth. Not only did He give us the earth in a perfect environment to thrive in, He said He's given us our meat also. So that means everything I need to live and flourish, every gift I need is in me. It's really just a matter of discovery. Just like with the earth, how many things are we continuing to discover? It's amazing how long the earth has been here, and then there's a scientist or someone said, man, we just discovered. Oh man, we just discovered. There has been no box delivered. There was not one day where the box was delivered and there was some new stuff that they could discover. It's in the same earth. So just like that, in us is everything we need. So if you look at, so let's just say this was inside the garden. Everything was perfect in here. So God was in the garden, Adam and Eve were in the garden, and then we had to go out. They had to go out, right? So everybody's been living here. I mean, the poor kings. I did not want to be a prophet nor a king in the Bible era. I don't want to be one of the children of Israel because they really had hard because they had no way to get back in here. They're out here doing works, right? So God sent Jesus, which gives us the ability to learn who God is so that we can begin to look like Him, okay? So here's the thing. I don't have to live out here anymore. I can live here, can contain within the perimeters of. So let's just say this is the space we're trying to get to, alignment. Like if your back is out of alignment, you can't walk straight, right? There's a problem. This is alignment. In here, there is no lack. There's no lack in here. So if you know, if I'm having a problem with lack, then maybe I'm living out here and I need to get inside. Because there is no lack. God doesn't have a problem with money. He's not trying to figure out where it's coming from. He's not trying to see, okay, man, I need to put somebody in there who makes more. There's not a shortage of money. He's not concerned about money. In Him, there is no sickness either. So there's no sickness in there, there's no lack in there. Everything we need is there if we are just aligned. So again, let's go back to the example of me being an ambassador for the United States to Mexico. If there's a famine in the land, am I concerned about the famine in the land? No. As a matter of fact, my job as an ambassador to Mexico is to learn how they live. So I'm going to do some studying, I'm going to meet with some of the leaders in that country, and I'm going to understand what the problems are because I'm there as an ambassador for the United States to help. So here's an advantage to us growing up here in the United States, and now that we're ambassadors, right? Now we are ambassadors. One of our advantages is we grew up in the culture. We know the culture very well. So we know what the problems are from the inside out, right? But the problem is, because we grew up in the culture, then we fall prey to the culture too. If everybody on my job is worried about layoffs, I had that same conversation, saying, oh, I'm going to get my layers off. Y'all pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. What if we are ambassadors in this earth, and my job at this job is an assignment? I'm here for a purpose at this particular job. Then I'm not saying, oh man, I'm trying to get this job and looking for another job. No. You're taking a pause. You're going to procrastinate on purpose to sit back and understand what is my direction. Where do you want me assigned right now? Where do I need to be? Doesn't that change things? Are we now worried about getting a promotion or getting a job or finding another job? No, we're walking in purpose. In purpose, on purpose, for a purpose, right? That changes things when you realize who you are. We were born in the culture, we were raised in the culture, and one day God saved us. Now we have to study to find out who He is, what He looks like, right? So that we can begin to look like that. Are we dressed for where we need to be? So in my profession, it's corporate. So a lot of people know about corporate. So sometimes, though, you have some people who don't quite understand the corporate culture. Somehow they got a job, because most of the time they don't get past the interview, right? But they got in. And so then they're wondering why they're not getting promoted or getting opportunities, because they don't fit the culture. Well, I'm not a genius, I don't have to do none of that. Okay, if we're going to play football, there's a uniform word, right? You don't go in the football field in a basketball uniform with a basketball and then get mad because you can't win the game. Oh, they penalize me. Oh, no, I didn't care. I come over. I can just be. Do you over here in your little organization do what you want to do, right? But you moved over here to this field. And if you want to win in this field, you have to understand what the opposition is. You have to understand what the strategy is, right? Everybody just wants to get mad. Oh, the man has a swing on my neck. No, they're just against me. What are the rules? How do you win the game? What's the strategy? Learn it. Read something. All right, so we have been living beneath our privilege because we've been living out here. We've been talking about the goodness of God. We know about the goodness of God. I know a bunch of people that just love the Lord, and He's just so awesome, and it just hurts my heart to see that they just continue to live in struggle. Like, that's okay. We have created a culture of struggle. You can create a culture of anything, but we have created a culture of struggle, a culture of sickness and disease. Well, you just gotta do the best you can, and trust the Lord and it's gonna be all right. No, you trust the Lord and you do something about it. So people have been talking about the goodness of the Lord, singing about the goodness of the Lord, instead of doing what it takes, a form of godliness. Now, I don't understand why you prefer a form of godliness. A form of godliness. And do you know how sad this is? I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh like when Saul. Let me just go back to Saul. Remember when Saul was first king and he listened to the people? He was supposed to kill everything. He was supposed to kill everything, but he didn't. Because people were like, well, I think we should do this and this, and we want to kill these people. And God was like, did you kill everything? Yeah, well, I killed everything except I kept this, right? And it just hurt my feelings when God said, today I have torn the king. He's like, hold on. I'm sorry. I'll go kill it now. I'll go do it. But God doesn't do that. He says to do a certain thing. That's what we need to be finding ourselves doing. So, in order to do this, being in redemption, let's go to Isaiah 26:3. Because we need to be focused, we need to be determined, and we need to make decisions. So Isaiah 26:3, live your life by decision. Make a decision. I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. Well, if he does this again, and I'm decision. Make a decision. Either you're going to do it or not. Because then, if you live your life by decision, there is no after 20 years, I gave you 20 years. No, you made a decision to be there all that time. You decided to do that. You decided. You were not a victim. Children are victims. They have no choice. Adults are not victims. Adults make choices. Isaiah 26:3. So there are things that we have to do, and there are things that God does. A lot of times we think God's going to it all. That he's in charge, and he's just going to do it all, and just whatever he says. He said, the earth is yours, do what you want with it. He said, in order to have authority in the earth, you have to have a body. So he gave us bodies. He gave us, this is ours, this is all us. He gave it to us to do what he wants to do. And you understand that there's a whole spiritual reality happening, right? And there are angels just sitting around watching, waiting to help us out. Once we get going, they're like, yeah, all right, let's do it. Has anybody ever figured out, ever experienced that when you make up your mind to do something, things just seem to work out? It's like, man, you know, I said yesterday that I'm going to do so-and-so. I was at the grocery store, this lady was talking, and then she just gave me this connection, boom. You know why? The angels are like, yes, we want to help you get it done. There's a whole spiritual reality going on. And our job, a lot of times, is to bring some of that spiritual reality into the physical reality so we can see it in results, right? Because, you know, I don't know, I decree and declare. I don't know what I'll say. I said, man, there's a lot of decree and declare going on, but I don't see nothing. And decreeing and declaring is a little bit new, right? Even with that, I don't see nothing new happening. Man, I've always been bothered by that. It's like, man, I would rather say, you know what, God's not going to do those things. I would rather just list these things, and guess what, God's not going to do that. Someone else to do it, and we just need to go figure out. I just rather that. But now I know better. I can agree and declare something's going to happen. I know I'm pulling out of the spiritual realm into the physical realm, because it's my job to do that. There are things I have to do, and the angels are there to help me. So 26:3 says, thou will keep him in perfect peace. God will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee because he trusted in thee. So you have to stay your mind. Have you talked to people that sort of think like this? 1 second they're thinking this, and 1 second they're thinking this. Well, I just talked to you last week, I thought you were going to do so-and-so. Well, you know, I'm going to go do, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. Whose mind is stayed. You have to stay your mind, and he will keep it in perfect peace. And not only that, he will restore your soul. Because our souls get hurt, our mind, our will, our emotions, they get hurt, and God will restore it. And you have to do what you have to do in order to get in the presence of God for him to restore your soul. And it's whatever gifting he gave you, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing, whether it's painting, playing music, just talking to kids, whatever it is. He gave you something so that you can activate that, so that he can restore your soul. Amen? All right, so stay your mind, and he will keep it. He will keep it in perfect peace. I'm just trying to find some peace. I need some peace. You don't have to do all that. Stay your mind. He said he will keep it in perfect peace. And sometimes you have to push through to get to that place of peace, right? You have to push through all the clutter. So that clutter's going to keep coming. It's like you just knock it down. It's going to keep coming. It's sort of like, let's say you grew up in a negative environment. Everybody's negative. Nothing ever good was going to happen, right? So you have to, for the rest of your life, you have to fight for that clutter. You have to fight for it. Because it's like railroad tracks. The train on the railroad track can only go the direction that the train is pointed on that track. It can't decide on whether the left is or the right, right? So you have to physically do something to get on that track. And it takes effort. Is it hard to get the train to do something else? Yes, it is. Because somebody has to lay some more tracks in order for it to go a different direction. You have to lay those tracks. Coming to church and coming to Bible study and learning these things is laying new tracks. Is doing something different than you've done before. Is laying new tracks. But guess what? Those other tracks are still there. They have not filled up any tracks. If you can go to old neighborhoods and see the grass is growing over there, but you can see those tracks in there, right? So don't think that there's a certain amount of deliverance that's going to get rid of those spots. Even while you were in the highest worship, someone's going to come and say, you don't deserve that. Put your hands down. You know what you did yesterday. You know what you did this morning, right? Dismiss them. Upon the recognition of them, dismiss them. Cast them down violently. That's what the Bible says, right? Cast them down violently and replace them with something else. Replace them with the word that you know and just say it over and over and over and over. Because you're not trying to convince So steady your mind. Be determined. Go to 2 Corinthians 5 and 7. So here is for we walk by faith and not by sight. And really, to do justice, we should go further, but I'm just going to stay there. For we walk by faith and not by sight. And you know, the faith walk is not a hard walk. It's not a difficult walk. It's not a stressful walk. It's actually a peaceful walk. Because when, let's say you know somebody who is let's say it's your sister. Your sister is a billionaire. You guys grew up close. You're working, doing whatever you have to do. But let's say you are also a single mother, and you have 3 kids, you have to pay rent, you have car notes, and let's say you're making about $35,000 a year, right? But your sister's a millionaire. So let's say your sister has always told you, she already knows that you're not going to just come to get money from her for, just whatever. By the time you come to her, you'll really need it, right? So you have some faith in her that when you need something or when the kids need something, she's going to give it to you, no problem. It's not like that with every family, right? I'd rather walk 10 miles and ask some people, right? But this is not the case. This is not a situation. This is, we have this agreement, or we're close enough to where I know I can come to her. So I'm never stressed out. Because I know that I'm working, I'm doing all these things, I'm going to school, whatever it is I'm doing, but I know that if there's a need, I have her. So I'm not stressed out, I have faith in her. So even though I see what my situation is, or if something might happen in my situation, it doesn't matter because I already know I have something. I'm walking in the right path, I'm doing the things I need to do, and I know that she's available, right? So when you walk by faith and not by sight, it's not a hard thing if you know who you have faith in. Sometimes we don't know who God is, and we haven't heard anything because we haven't been reading anything and we haven't been learning anything, so we don't know anything. Don't be like, again, these poor little children of Israel, don't be like them where they said they wanted a king. And what's the prophet's name? Is it Isaiah? Who's this prophet? Okay, the whole family, you don't want king. Okay, so anyway, prophet, the king, and he said, anyway, the people were like, we want a king, we want to be like everybody else. He was like, well, I don't think you want a king because, they're going to take your daughters. He's going to do whatever he wants to with them. He's going to take their sons and put them in the service. And he's going to come get whatever stuff he feels like coming to get from your house. If you have a house out here and he likes those houses, he's taking them. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we want a king. You know why? Because people want somebody to do something for them. So they want to come to the pastor and say, am I going to get married? Am I going to get this job? Am I going to have all this stuff? Why don't you know that? How come you haven't prayed and you can hear from him and you know what direction to go in? Principles are taught. Your pastor teaches principles. Sort of like your coach will teach you if you're going to, you got to get the stance right so that if anybody wants to against you, well, those are foundational principles. And once you have foundational principles, now you can go through the fancy shots and stuff like that, right? But you've got a stance. So that's what you get taught is principles. But with those principles, just like basketball players, they have to go and shoot their free throws all the time. They have to do layups all the time and practice. We have to know what we're dealing with. We have to know who we're dealing with, right? We have to be contained within the parameters of God. Because in there is no lack. So then we shouldn't be stressed out. We should just find the place of peace and find that direction, because everything we need, every gift that we need, provides for us. So we don't necessarily have to look for jobs. We look for a purpose. We look to help somebody else's vision, because that's all it is. But maybe I need to be looking for people to help me with my vision and monetize the vision. I talk to singers all the time. People who have beautiful voices. Well, I just like to sing, so I don't charge anybody anything. I sing at all the funerals and all the weddings. That earlier scripture in Genesis 1:28, 29, something like that, he gave everything we needed for meat. Everything we need. We just got caught up in this culture And more than enough. Because anybody says, well, I don't really need anything, then you don't know who this is. Is he a God of a little bit? Just enough? No. More, and growing and growing and more and more and more. Right? So let's go to, and then also, let me just say one more thing about, for we not walk by faith and not by sight. Don't be moved by what you see, but allow what you see to move you closer to the things of God. So we have, not stuff like that. We live a life of habits. We live a life from our culture. And do you know you can change that? Do you know you can even change your taste buds? Well, I don't even like that. All I like is, I wanted something fried. You don't have to be that way. You can change that today. Make a decision. I don't want that anymore. It's not my friend. Cake is not my friend. I like cake. As a matter of fact, I like ice cream. Riders with some Oreos, with some caramel, with some strawberries. There have been times I ate the whole thing over the weekend. Eric come back and said, well, where's the... Well, it was through fasting, but I realized that it was really my friend. I had to learn that through fasting, so... All right, so, don't be unstable. When you recognize that in yourself, get with some people to help you with some stability. Don't hang around unstable people, because I bet you hang around unstable people and all y'all go nowhere together. But once you decide, I'm not doing that anymore, you really do have to break away. Do a survey of the 5 closest people to you and see where they're going, see what their lives look like, see if it's confusion, see if stuff is always broken in their house, see if stuff is always broken in their room, see if stuff is always lost, they can't find nothing, see if bad stuff just happens to them. Man, when this happened to them, and now this happened to them, and now this happened to them, no, I can't go do that because this happened to them. I'm not saying that these things aren't happening. All I'm saying is when you make a decision to do things a different way, I'm cutting ratchetness out of my life, the angels are there to support you and make that way straight for you. You have to be willing to cut all that off, right? Because Paul said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, when I became a man, I put away. He didn't say it fell off. It did not fall off. Because I can say it doesn't fall off. I have to put it away. When I recognize that it's there, I have to put it away. Right? And so a test always for me about where I am is really on the highway. I have chased people down the highway just because you cut me off. Oh no, you're going to chase me this highway, right? It doesn't matter if I'm listening to the Bible one day, if I'm listening to some work, I'm chasing you down the highway. And I'm going to say, this is retarded. I'm like, no, we're in a traffic jam, lady, I'm out of my car. And the lady was rolling up the window and stuff. No, that's stupid, right? So, but at least it's something that can show me that you have a problem and you need to pull yourself back, right? So then I know what I need to do. And you have to all be honest with yourself. You can't say, well, in a restaurant, they mess up the food, mean to the waitresses and stuff. That's horrible. Jesus wouldn't do that. The only people Jesus was harsh to, who was he harsh to? The Pharisees, the Sadducees. If this whole row had long rows, and you had all the poor people in the back, and they weren't getting any service, he'd come in here and turn this stuff over, right? But he'd be compassionate to those people in the back. We're representing him. We're representatives of the earth. Okay, so that's the last thing on the redemption, on the beginning. So let's just talk about walking it out. And I forgot paper towel or something like that. So let's talk about walking it out. So how do you do this? What are the steps? I know I need to do it. I know I need to do better. I don't know how to do better. I'm trying to do better. I try to make decisions, and they just don't stick, right? So part of it is being systematic in your life. Do you know if you have a system, which you have a system here in this church, it doesn't take you long to get all this stuff set up. It doesn't take you long to get it all break down. You know why? Because you have an established system. Nobody's wondering, well, where are we going to stand tomorrow? Where are we going to stand next week? What's the order of service? Who's going to get up and sing? How are we going to feel about it, right? You're not doing that. Why? Because you have a system in place. And what does that system do? It allows you to flow. It allows you to flow without confusion, without problems. It allows you to freely flow. Well, you want that in your So you want to be systematic. So think about your mornings. How do your mornings go? You wake up, and there's confusion, kids are all over the place, nobody can find nothing, everybody's looking for shoes, socks, and by the time you get out the door, you're just exhausted? Okay, well if that's the case, you need a process in the morning. And that process in the morning begins at night. There was a lady who had something on Facebook where she had drawers for each day. So the kids knew that everything they needed, the socks, the underwear, the shirt, the pants, everything was right there together on Monday. It was a Monday drawer, a Tuesday drawer, a Wednesday drawer. So by the end of the week, so that helps your morning go more smoothly. So it starts the night before, planning out for tomorrow. What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to accomplish tomorrow? Although tomorrow is a new day and I've never seen it before, I don't know what God has in store for me, but I do have a plan of action. I do have a foundation laid. I do have a process so that when I do hear from Him, I can actually act on it. Because I can't act on anything if I'm saying no, stop, and I can't hear anything. It's just a bunch of confusion. So you need to have some systems. And you need to begin to put good habits in place. We are driven by habits. I'll try to drive someplace. If I'm not thinking, I'm driving to another place and driving to work. Because that's where I drive all the time. So, man, I'm on this highway. Now I got to figure out how to get to the other highway to get where I'm going and not late that place. We are habitual. So you have to take an evaluation of your life, find out where you are, and begin to make some decisions to do it differently. And live your life by decisions. That way, no one can use you. Well, you're not going to use me. No, I decided I'm helping you. I don't even care that you're not grateful for it. I'm going to hold the door for you. I'm not looking for you to say thank you because I decided to help you. That's because I wanted to do that. You don't need to say thank you. It doesn't matter. I held the door for her to you. Say thank you. At least say thank you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it expecting. Don't do anything that you have to expect something in return for. Just like lending money. If you're going to lend it, don't look for it back. Just give it. Just give it. That way, you don't have an attitude about it. They're not afraid to keep coming back around you because like they don't want to see you because they know you're not going to be mad because you gave them $1,000 and now they're coming to church and, something brand new. And it's like, oh, where'd you get that? Where's my money? Where's my money? See, nothing. Make decisions. I decided I'm going to do that, period. Whether you feel like you're using me and you know that's on you. I don't have to do that. I made a decision I wanted to give that to you. I made a decision I wanted to do that. I made a decision I want to live here with you. I made a decision I'll help you raise your kids. Whatever it is. That way in the end, when they leave and don't say thank you, oh, I did all this for you and that's all you got. I made a decision. Now it looks like you're making a decision to do something different. God bless you. All right, so the habits, understanding the culture that you've submerged yourself in. You want to change the culture to what we talked about. And I want to talk about our financial system. Because, my son asked me some years ago about the man with the foot in it. Like, why is his foot still in it, right? Well, I work with a lot of seniors. And I'm finding that the system does still have their foot in it. So let's say this is water, right? If they're on Medicaid, we're going to do it Medicaid. If they're on Medicaid, and let's just say they're on Social Security, I think most of that, but that's Social Security, right? This is the water line. They're living under here. If you are on financial aid, what is that called? Like aid, welfare, stuff like that. What is it? Social Security. Yeah, even Social Security, if you're on financial aid, not financial aid like you're in school, but from the government because I'm not working on getting money and food stamps and stuff like that, right? Right. So you're living here. This line right here is the survival line. In order to make it here in America, this is that line. You're living under here. Right? So the system does have their foot on your neck, right? You know why? Because the system, that particular system, isn't designed to get you up here. It's not designed for that. It wasn't built for that. It's not designed for that. And generations have gotten stuck in this, right? I mean, we could get into the whole thing with this system encouraging men to not be part of the families, to be out of the house, to help in their households, which further creates this problem, right? So the system isn't even designed for you to get out of that. However, our economy is. Our economy is designed to live up here and do whatever. But how do you get from here when you're stuck here and you want to be up here, like with a business or something, in order to get from here to here? Well, for one, it's a mindset. But now that I have a mindset, what do I need to do about it? Part of it is what Sister Dixon said yesterday about us working together. Has anybody heard the term collective economics? Okay, so that is us working together, right? I have the children of Acts, in Acts. Didn't they do that in Acts? They all came together, they brought all their stuff, and now we all come up together. Together, we can help this. This is up to us to fix. The government is not even considering helping and trying to figure it out. They have no ability to do that. But we together can. That's why it's important for us who know God, us who are living within the perimeters, us who know that we are kings in this earth, that we're masters to this earth. I know I grew up here, I know I lived here, and it's sort of like, it's like, oh, who do you think you are now? Well, I know I grew up here with you, but I'm an ambassador now. I joined another country. I'm part of another culture, and I'm here to help. I understand how you think. I know quite well how you think as I grew up with you. That's the advantage. That's why I can reach you where you are. That's why I'm called to this community to do this. But I have to be separate. I can't just live and do and think and all that kind of stuff. Or I'm the same. I have nothing to offer you. I can't help you. I can't help you if I can't help myself. I have nothing to give you that I don't have myself. So I have to have more than enough. 2 Corinthians 9:8 maybe says God generously provides everything that I need, plus plenty left over to share with others. I think that's what that is. Let's go there real quick. 2 Corinthians 9:8. And I believe is the New Living Translation. Yes. Okay, 2 Corinthians 9:8. But this is going to be the New Living Translation. And God will generously provide all you need. Then you will always have everything you need and plenty left over to share with others. That's that little encouraging amount for you. That's what that scripture that we normally hear. But it says God will generously provide all you need. He does that where? Contained within the perimeter. When I'm walking in purpose. When I know what He's called me to, and I'm doing that, I'm putting my hand to the plow. That's what that is. There is no stress in that. When you find something you love to do, can you do it all night long? Can you wake up in the morning, middle of the night, and do it some more? That's what we need to be. Living 40 years, working at a job, waiting on the day they give you a watch to retirement is not what God has called us to. We have to walk an assignment. We to learn, to get encouraged, to find out who we are, to understand who we are. How can we hear unless there's a preacher? We can't. God said we need a preacher. So he gave us something, and that's why we're here, to learn, right? All right, so anyway, that's about the economy. And understanding that this group of people is stuck. They need a mind shift, they need some help, they need financial help. And that's all I'm saying about that, because out of that, I've created a nonprofit organization designed to help, but that's something separate. Okay, so then also budget. Let's talk about budgeting real quick, because it's a plan. All it is a plan of action. All it is telling you money where to go. So if you ever heard the accountant at an organization, they say, okay, Bob, kind of tell us where we are. I don't know what money. I have no idea. We were spending it so fast. We had a lot going on, so I don't know what happened. It's just, we don't have money. Is he fired? Yeah, he's fired. So we should be fired too if we ever say those words again. I got 4 months of money, cut it out. Erase it, eradicate it, no more, don't say it ever again in life. And I don't know where the money went. Just know where it went. You know what? I spent it at home. It's all there. I gave it to them. Because why? Because I felt like it. That's where it is. But don't say, I don't know where it went. At least know where it went. So when we first got married, I couldn't figure out why I didn't have any money. We were both working. I was 21. He was 24. I thought he was old. I used a steno pad after a while because Eric is from Georgia. And so we would just drive down there, just whatever. Use that sheet that you got yesterday because it's going to help you identify what the categories are, okay? But if you've done nothing, you've not budgeted, you have no idea then what God has blessed you with. Like, the Lord, I get a financial miracle. You don't know what he gave. You know why? Because it all got spent anyway. And if you have a bunch of receipts, guess what? You had a bunch of money. Receipts equal money. Right? So you don't know what he's done. Clean out your house. I can't remember what I bought. Maybe a stapler or something. Came home, I had like 4 staplers because I got $40. I was like, man. I just didn't know. I didn't need that. I got a bunch of people get stuff. I don't know why. Because I didn't know where to go. Because it was easier to just go buy them. And I didn't know I had it. I thought I needed it. So you don't know what God has blessed you with even. Because you don't know where to play. And then think about it as a parent. You give your teenager $50 for the week, and they come back to you on Tuesday and say, I need some money. Where to go? Are you giving them another session? Okay. So, real simple budget here. This is, I used a steno pad. So, the green pad that had the wire at the top. And this was my revelation. I had the income over here, so let's say it's $1,000 on the first, and $1,000 on the 15th. It's $2,000. And at that time, our income was just regular. Got paid every 2 weeks, the first and 15th. I think I got paid every 2 weeks, which means I got an extra check a few times a year, right? Did that matter? Didn't feel like it. Because we're like, oh yeah, we're going to have this extra check. Okay. So over here then, I wrote down at the time we had rent. Of course, we gave our tithes and offering. We had insurance, renter's insurance, car insurance. Okay, so we had all this stuff. And here's what I found out. That equaled about, let's just say equal $1,800. And you know what this doesn't include? Gas, groceries, variable expenses. And you know what happens? Because we work to make this money, we're going to do this. Entertainment, going out of town. Now, I don't know how come when we went out of town, we got food for people. We're the ones from out of town. Why are we buying all this? So the variable expenses. So here's what happened. We got paid and did this, and then we're looking real sad. It's like, well, what happened? And you know what most people do? Well, I won't say most people, but some people do. They do this, they do a whole bunch of this, they don't have this, and then they come for the benevolence fund. Oh, my light's about to be turned off. Really? How long has it been about? Because they don't turn them off tomorrow. They'll say, I don't think you're going to pay this bill in 3 weeks. They don't do that. You didn't pay it this time. Then it doubled up. Then. Now it's huge, right? It's huge. I remember one time when, before they had like paying online. That's the best thing that's ever happened. I used to have to write up checks and all that. I had it in my purse forever. Until I went to turn on the water. I'm like, what's wrong with the water? I'm all empty. Like, man, you haven't paid the bill. And see, even that, how long did I carry that around and didn't pay it and didn't pay attention and all that kind of stuff, right? So it didn't happen. It just like we said yesterday, you know, I need kids, the school clothes, it just sort of came up. No, it's every year. They're bigger, you see. Bigger kids, you know. You saw them. So anyway, once you do something like this, and that sheet he gave you yesterday will help you identify the categories, also your receipts. I've sat down with people that didn't realize they spent more money at restaurants than they spent at the grocery store. That's why they didn't have the money. Like, man, I'm just having a hard time, you know. You have to really evaluate to realize where things are going. And then make some decisions. Because when we first did the Dave Ramsey Financial Research University years ago, our son was small. And so we told him, hey, we're not using the debit card anymore, we're not going to McDonald's and all those places. He's like, what's wrong with the card? Is the card broke? No. Because he couldn't understand why we couldn't just go swipe the card. He knew about the card swiping. But no, we decided we're going to do something different, right? All right, so this is the first thing, is to get some realization with what's going on. That's what you're going to learn over these next 6 or 7 weeks, 6 weeks. These next 6 weeks are going to be critical, because this is that foundational stance. From here I can do anything. From here I can become debt free. From here I can be free to love, free to serve, free to give, right? Free to do what God has called me to do. That's what's most important. We're here on assignment, on purpose. What is the assignment? And would I be fired from my assignment if someone hired me who doesn't have grace and mercy? Right? All right, so you have to have a plan of action. So you go from knowing what, most people kind of know what these are, but they don't realize how close these two numbers are, so that there's no room for this. And then beyond that, now I do an emergency fund, I do a savings, and an emergency fund, actually. So I do, once this is good, now only once this is good, the steps have to be done in order. Those steps you talked about yesterday really have to be done in order. I know sometimes we feel like we've wasted time, and now time is against us, so I want to jump to the investing part and doubling my money and all this other kind of stuff, but you can't do that. You really have to have a proper foundation, just like you can't run before you can actually crawl. That's for a reason. You have to have a foundation that's laid. And the good thing about it is, look at God. How awesome is He? What can He do miraculously in your life now that you're lined up? Now that you know what you're going to do with it. You know people who win the lottery, a lot of those people end up worse than they were before they won the lottery. Why? Because they didn't have a foundation. Unless they were already people that were savers and managed their money, that's the only way it's going to help them. Otherwise, it's going to hurt them. Okay, so once the budget works, and what I mean by works is this. A lot of people get saying this, yeah, there's nothing in it. You don't have to say this. And speaking of saving, I just want to throw this out there. You can't shop and save. Just realize the propaganda that's out there. The name of the store is Shop and Save. You can't. You cannot. You cannot. got it. I don't know. Come in this weekend and save $1,000. No. You might spend $1,000 less, but you're going to come in and spend. You're going to shop and spend, okay? Just remember that. Okay, so we have savings. And I find that, same thing he said yesterday, is money is not emotional, but people are emotionally tied to it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a sister saved all your life. I promise you this. If you have $0 and a bunch of debt and you got your car and you're happy, you're not in as good a mood or just free as if you have a few $1,000s and don't have any needs. Your spirit is lifted, you hate everybody, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. I mean, you feel lighter, right? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Then, and this is the reason why I designed this way, and I'm almost finished. And this is supposed to say emergency. G. Okay. So I deal with it how people deal with it when I'm emotional. And he was right about women too. I deal with couples. And the man was like, yeah, put in all of it. Okay, so in the savings account, super simple. This account, this is eyes on the bottom. This account is for stuffing money. So Super Bowl was coming. You know, my team, the Seahawks, didn't make it. I was a little upset about that. I was depending on God what they did, what's his name? To win Cam. He let me down. So anyway. But so the Super Bowl is coming. You want to do something with it. The budget is working. Meaning, again, that at the end of the month, you're not taking that automatic deposit that goes to the savings and swiping it right back. You're not playing that game. We're done with that game, right? You have done the budget for a few months and that game is over. The budget works, right? Now, you put some money in here. How much do you put in there? The amount you want to just go do something with. If I call my girlfriend and say, hey, you know, let's go to Jamaica next week, they're having a sale, let's go. I have the money in there, how much that's going to take for me to go away and have a good time. Then you come on vacation, can't do nothing. How much is that? How much is that? How much is that? No, I mean, enough to go and have a good time. Yep, sign me up for that. Yep. What's that you got? Yep, sign me up for that. We're doing that in the morning. We're doing that in the afternoon. We're doing that later. Sign me up. Where's the cab? Put me in it. Here's your tip. That's the case. And I have a good time. Why? Because I'm not worried about what bills we need to pay. I'm not thinking, man, when I get back, I'm going to have to pay for it. Stop all that. We're not doing that no more. Stop all that, because this budget works on its own. It's fine. I have this money to go and have a good time. And then you put it back in there. So the emergency fund is different. You manage your own savings account. That savings account is close to you. You do whatever you want to do, right? I manage the money. Normally, this is what I'm doing. So if you're calling me like, hey, I need something, you should call and lament, and I will lament with you. Really? Man, I should hate that. Are you okay? I'm going to lament with you, right? Then we're going to send you the money out so you can have your business, whatever just happened. That's what this is for. How much you put in there? Well, first of all, their first litmus test for how much to be in there, how much needs to be in there needs to be the amount that you have to, we'll get on the phone and say, hey, you know, I'm sorry to call, so-and-so just happened, and I just really hate to call you, but I'm giving it right back. I promise you, just give me this, and we'll be able to do this. What is that amount? What is that amount that you don't already have, that you have to make a phone call for? That needs to be in there. That amount needs to be in there. So, beyond that, how much is your deductible on your auto insurance? You know, and take a look at your auto insurance. Is the deductible too low so the premium is too high? If you put some money in savings or in your emergency fund, you can increase that deductible and reduce your rates because you're not getting any money back from your insurance, right? And if you get an accident, guess what? They're going to raise your rates, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying as little as possible for something you have to have, and that it's enough coverage. You want to make sure it's not the same amount. So your deductible goes in here. What happens to your car? You know, can the engine go out? And the reason why I do this is because, especially if you're married or if you're single, and you see a big pile of money here, it makes you feel like you can go do something with it. It's like, you know what, I've been working, I'm going to take this cruise around the world right here. Instead of saying, well, you know what, I feel like I want to cruise around the world, let me go down to this, so I should take it. This is happening. I get to do this. This is over here because it is going to rain one day. Something will happen one day. If it doesn't happen, it can happen to somebody else who died. This is money in my pocket. Have you ever walked in the store and stuff was on sale? It's like, man, I'm just on sale. I can't afford it anyway. They can mark that TV down. They can mark that bedroom set down 75%, and I still don't have any money to pay for it. That doesn't feel as good as when I walk in. It's like, I don't want that. I get to say I don't want it, or I want it, I can get it. That's a whole different feeling than, man, I couldn't get it anyway, right? And I'm still saved, and I still love the Lord, and I'm the praise dancer, and I'm the worship leader, I'm the preacher, whatever it is. I'm the number one saved, whatever. I'm gonna feel better if I got money in my pocket. Then I'm not mad at myself. She can say whatever, and I can minister her because I have an attitude already because I can't afford nothing in the store. So now you say something to me, I'm snapping back, and I'm not representing Jesus anymore. But if I have money, I have a different disposition. All right, so first the budget is number one. And the reason why he said yesterday that you need that $1,000 first is because something will happen. It's almost like it's a test. Like, oh, okay, you get your budget. Oh, you get ready trying to get some work. All right, let me show you something. Boom, the time goes out. Now what do I got to do? I had to go, I was on this payment plan with Snowball, trying to consolidate all this stuff and pay the lowest one first. Why? So I can see some results. So that's why I'm paying the smallest one first. Then we get the next bill. So yeah, we're really getting into this. So if you start failing, then what's going to happen is something's going to happen to throw you off. Have you ever started working out? I've given offerings to gyms for many years, just offerings. Why? Because it's keeping hope alive, right? If I don't give that offering to that gym every month, I have to do so with my life, but I'm never going to work out. So I'm keeping hope alive. How many more people are keeping hope alive? You go in there, I know they got thousands of members who get on any treadmill, any of the people you want to get on. Because people aren't there every conference, right? So just keep in mind that the budget, you need to have that money because something will come and derail it. And now you're off track. You started out good, it got you off track. Now you got to build that momentum again to even get started. Getting back on the wagon is hard. Falling off is dangerous. Making an exception is dangerous. Until you have to give it your energy and focus for a period of time until it becomes a habit. Does that make sense? Until it becomes second nature to you. You have to initially give it that energy that it deserves. Then you have to fight for it. You have to fight for it, and once you got it, you got it. Okay? So that's why you have to have that $1,000 first, because you have to have a cushion. And you do the very next thing, and you'll see it come to pass. Okay? Amen. God bless you. Miss Rogers to come back and to stand. We're not going to do it on the call, but I'm going to have her to pray for you guys. Pray. Whatever it is in your heart, you know what we've heard. Father, I thank you for action steps today. I thank you for action steps today. And I thank you for continuing to speak to us, because there's a sweet spirit here today. And I thank you for being here visiting with us. Thank you, Father. We thank you, God, that we're moving forward in you, that we're coming to what you have called us to. Father, we want nothing more than to serve you. We want nothing more than to serve your people. We